All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about what is credit card gardening. Why is this strategy important? How should you use it? And what is it? All right, so let's get into that. So a lot of you guys know that I'm big on relationship banking. And part of relationship banking is something that we call going into a credit union or a bank, establishing a checking or a savings account, and then starting to do more business with them, whether that's getting a secured business card, whether that's a secured credit card, whether that's a secured loan, whether that's a personal loan. You name it, there's a credit line or there's a credit product that they have, and the more things that you're invested with them and you're showing that you're paying for things and you're using it, the more that they'll be lending to you, or the less strict that they'll be with their underwriting. Okay, so the whole goal and strategy that I'm pitching and promoting and teaching a lot is something that a lot of people don't really do because, number one, they may not agree with it or they're not aware of it. And one of those ways is utilizing your local credit unions. Why do I like the local credit unions? Well, I like the local credit unions because they are a nonprofit and they're owned by its members, where the banks are for profit and they're not owned by their members. And so they're just very difficult to deal with, and they really don't give a crap about you. You know, you're just another number to them, and they could tell you what they want, but they're not a charity and they're not going to help you out. And don't get me wrong, credit unions need to make money too, but they're a lot more lenient in their underwriting, and they understand our relationship, because if they don't have a relationship, they'll be out of business. So they're big on relationship banking. And so whether you're with Navy Federal or United Nations or WECU or whatever the case is, whoever you're with on a credit union, Andrews, State Department, you name it, they all have amazing credit lines that they give to their members, but they're not just going to go give them to you unless you earn them. So I teach people, build the relationship, go to them, open up a checking or a savings account, okay? And then don't apply for the credit cards right away, okay? And so do that, open up multiple bank accounts, even if you don't need them, but only open up the bank accounts that you want to get credit products from, okay? Don't be open up random bank accounts. That's not what I'm teaching here. Open up accounts that you could see yourself in a relationship with that bank to get a checking or a personal line of credit, an amazing home loan, great personal loans, great credit cards. And when I start releasing a lot of these videos that I've been doing research on, you're gonna understand why it's so important to do relationship banking and gardening. Gardening is, hey, I'm gonna get into this bank, I'm going to keep it open for 90 days. I'm going to have activity going in there. So you open up the checking and savings account with the bank, and then you start putting active activity. One of the ways that I recommend doing it is putting your direct deposits on and splitting it up like 20% of your check into each account. So that way there's constant activity going in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to target these products that you want, whatever the credit card is or the loan or whatever. Let's just talk credit cards, for example. And you say, okay, great. They pull from Equifax. They pull from TransUnion. I'm going to I'm going to make a list for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I'm going to go get bank accounts of the cards that I want. And then I'm going to wait until 6 months have passed since my last opened account, and then I'm going to do these credit runs at the same time. Okay, here's the thing: banks don't like to see brand new accounts, and they don't like to see a bunch of inquiries. So I recommend, if you have 2 to 3 new accounts in the last 6 months, okay, wait 6 months after that. Okay, preferably a year, but 6 months is enough time. So if you wait 6 months from the last account that you opened, okay, and you've been doing the credit card gardening, then you're in good business. So let's recap, because I know it's confusing. Let's say you open up a Chase card and you open up a Bank of America card in February, okay? Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the credit unions that you want. You're gonna first do more research, okay? You're going to open those cards, and then you're going to do research on credit cards that you want from credit unions. Okay? You're going to find out who they pull from, and you're going to write them down in your little notebook, and then you're going to go out and you're going to apply for these credit unions. And don't do too many at one time, because check systems can deny you or give an alert for them to deny you the card. I recommend at least in the first month do 3 to 4, and then the second month do another 3 to 4, and then the third month do another 3 to 4. Okay, and then you're gonna put money in these accounts every single month. It doesn't have to be $1 million. You could have $1,000 in each account if you want. If you don't have that, you could be $500. They just want to see activity going in the account. Okay, and while you're doing this, you're not gonna apply for anything. Okay, at all. Okay, then you're gonna have 6 months of history. 90 days it can work too. But to give you maximum results, they want to see activity for 6 months, and they don't want to see any new accounts in the last 6 months. That's just kind of like their MO, especially with people being super conservative. So you get those credit cards, right? Your Bank of America, your Chase, whatever the card is, once it's opened, now you're going to start your credit card gardening. Okay, you're going to go into the gardening phase, where it means you will not apply for anything for the next 6 months. Okay? You're going to be doing research. You're going to find the cards that you want. You're going to write them down. You're going to find out who they pull from, and then you're going to start going to open up checking and savings accounts with all of those credit unions, and you're going to start putting weekly to bi-weekly deposits in these accounts for the next 6 months. Well, so now you have 6 months of no new inquiries, 6 months of no new accounts. You got 6 months of activity. You've been building the relationship with these credit unions, and now it's time to apply for the cards that you want. And you do it strategically. You don't apply for them all if they're all pulling from Experian. You take the cards that are pulling from TransUnion, you prioritize them. Put the top 3 there. Put the top 3 in Experian and the top 3 in Equifax. And then you do the pizza party play, and you go apply for them all at the same time if you can. Sometimes you can't do that in credit unions. You got to go in. But for the most part, you do it from online. And here's the other thing to keep aware of with too. Credit unions sometimes do manual underwriting. They don't normally give automatic. They can give automatic, but sometimes they're manual underwriting. So think about that, okay? And apply for 2 to 3 max, in my opinion, for each credit union, for each credit bureau. So if there's 2 to 3 at your top in that pull from Experian, 2 to 3 pull from Equifax, and 2 to 3 that pull from TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, right? So 2 to 3. So that means you're going to be able to get 6 to 9 credit cards by doing these credit cards, and then you're going to do it all over again in 6 months. But once you do this, you're probably going to have to wait a year for the next credit gardening, which means you can be building your relationship up with these banks even more so. And so that way you can get other different products like a personal line of credit, things like that. But you don't want to be applying for too many things within a year. Okay, so once you do your gardening play one time, then you're probably going to have to wait for a year depending on how many you've gone after. If you don't want to be so aggressive and you just do a couple, 2 to 3 here and there, that's fine. But I'm telling you right now, banks will deny you if you've had too many new accounts in the last 12 months and if you've had too many inquiries in the last 6 months. So that's the play. You research, you write out your game plan, you go open those accounts, you put active deposits in those accounts so that way there's activity being built, there's a relationship being built, it benefits them, they can now market to you. And then when the time comes to apply for the cards, you do it all at the same time. You don't wait days, you do it all at the same day, latest the second day. And you are strategic and you know who's pulling from who, and you know what card's your number 1 card, what card's your number 2 card, and so that way you can prioritize it. Because when you're doing that, the inquiries are going to hit the bureaus, but the credit reports aren't going to see the new account opened right away. Okay? And that's the key. That's the credit card gardening play.